I know we can do this together because I know this. There's nothing beyond our capacity.
Remember that guy? Yeah, that was Joe Biden. He used to be the president. Really, that was the president. Even though we know that the 2020 was a fraud, there is cheating, there's lying, there's backstabbing, there's treason, there's traitors, there's everything. But that guy was in charge. We've got a lot going on there, in fact. A lot going on. Nothing but trouble. We got the Trumpster in office now, right? And Trump has now responded to this autopen hoax, right? This scandal that's developed over the autopen. They've discovered that documents are being signed, right, with a presidential signature duplicator. So what I say is, well, the fraud has been discovered. Find all the documents with autopen. Declare them invalid. Because some of them were signed, and the date on there, while Biden was on the beach or out fucking around, right? So then you find out who's signing it, and I think they already know. Arrest all fraudsters and make America great again. Oh yeah. Attention, Pam Bondi. Have you found your spine yet? Welcome to the Prepared Mind channel, folks. There is a lot going on. I hope you have yourself ready for the show. I took a power nap before the show because I am jacked up, whatever this cold is. It came back and bit me again in the butt. Anyways, I took a quick nap and I feel pretty good. I feel like I can do the show with you guys. So get your questions in the comment section, whether you're on the preparedmind.club, subscribestar.com, or if you're on X. If you follow on X, welcome to the show where we talk about everything and why you should be prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. Oh yeah, and a means of self-defense. Naturally, everyone needs a plan. And it's amazing the amount of people now saying, get prepared is coming up in a lot more circles. Not just the crazy, wacko, prepper, survivalist, not just us types, not just us veteran types. And, well, what I noticed was the people in economics, they seem to be the ones who are most interested and most vocal about being prepared for everything because they see the economic uncertainty, the fear, and the doubt. That's known as FUD, right? Fear, uncertainty, doubt. They see all of the fear and uncertainty, and they know that it could cause a lot of problems really fast. They also know that Trump, as hated as he is, and you and me, folks, as hated as we are for being patriotic Americans. And America, the United States of America, our precious Constitution, Declaration of Independence, is hated as well. In fact, Trump has asked, I believe, for the Declaration of Independence to be taken to the White House for display there. I wonder why he would make that request. Has there been a threat against it? I guess we're going to find out. Now, do you have any doubts that we need to be prepared? I've told you again and again, and I think, you and I, because we talk about this. You guys tell me things and it goes in here and I digest it. I'm like, yeah, that was a great point that comment A or comment B made, right? Knowing that the left is not going away, that they're not giving up, that they're going to keep fighting. The idiot transgender Democrat man who got called Mr. the other day in committee, and other Congress people decided to object to the chairman of the committee, a Republican. They objected to him calling him Mr. And he says that's what he is. The president says by executive order that in all federal properties, it's man and woman, Mr. and Mrs. And that person with the dick over there is a man. Now, I'm paraphrasing, of course, and putting my own words in there, but that was the gist of it. Now, here is what did happen, is they pissed off the chairman again, and he banged the gavel, said meeting adjourned, no meeting. because they've got a transgender fruitcake in a committee. Do we want purple-haired idiots? Do we want transgender fruitcakes? Do we want eye patch McCain type traitors on committees? No, they need to be removed, all of them, including AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib, right? And all the discount Obamas and wannabes and racists. They need to be removed from committee assignments because all they are objectionist assholes getting in the way. So back to this transgender Democrat decided he's going to call Republicans weird. And also, you're going to love this one, bizarre. Republicans are weird and bizarre. So I'm going to say, fuck you, Mr. Weenie Tuck. Fuck you, Mr. Man with boob implants. Fuck you, Mr. I have a tampon in my ass and I'm going to pretend like I'm menstruating. Fuck you, Mr. Mental Disorder, calling us the same names that didn't work before the election. Remember when they called Trump and Vance weird? They need to fuck off and go back in the closet. Folks, this call for First Amendment freedom of speech needs to remain loud, very loud. Now, I'm going to jump right on the bandwagon and say, if you're not in America as an American, if you're here as a student, a visa holder, a green card holder, a visitor, and you want to talk shit, you do not have the same First Amendment rights we do. No. You can be escorted to the airport, thrown on a fucking plane, and sent out of the country. You don't have rights. Now, you're not going to go to jail. You shouldn't. You should just get thrown the fuck out. The same way you would throw someone out of your house for insulting you. You'd be like, you know what? This is my house, motherfucker. Get out. And that is going to start happening. These little jihadis are being told to leave. Good. At the same time, this idea that you can't make anti-Semitic remarks, I don't care about Israel. How about all of the Christians in America that are being attacked around the world, attacked in Hollywood, in the news, in media? How about all the Christians being slaughtered by the thousands in Syria? And we're not, people they're pushing this anti-Semite shit again. And it's pissing a lot of people off because it's a double standard. We'll get into more of this later, folks. This is all part of and parcel to, by the way. Has nothing to do with the push for Nazi-like controls or anything else. It has to do with the country needing to find its balance. It needs to find what its culture is. It needs to define itself instead of being pushed by a bunch of left-wing fruitcakes, because that's what they are. They want to call us bizarre and weird. They're fucking fruitcakes. Fruitcakes. Yeah, we're weird and bizarre. Huh? Oh, yeah. And we got another one here, right? Oregon's, get this, the state of Oregon has a mental health advisory board. That sounds right? Shouldn't states be concerned about the mental health of the citizenry? Sure. Except in Oregon, their advisory board has a member who identifies as, drum roll please, identifies as a turtle. A turtle. And Republicans are weird. And Republicans are bizarre. Remember when we had a transgender, obese man as the director of Health and Human Services? Remember that? Do you recall that? We don't have that anymore. Thank goodness. But we've got a lot of work to do and a long way to go. It is Thursday, folks. It is now Friday Eve, and that's good news in my book. Good news. We're going into the weekend. Today, we hit an all-time high in gold, $2,999.66 is the highest recorded trade I saw. And it might have been 60 or 66 cents. Mere pennies. from $3,000 for an ounce of gold. Tell me there's not a problem with the dollar. Tell me there's not a problem with U.S. bonds, T-bills, Treasury notes. Tell me there's not a problem with the economy, with the banking system, with trust internationally. You see, when all those things go down, trust in the banking system goes down. The yields and trustability or believability of bonds, the value of the dollar. When these things all start falling, gold goes up. Silver goes up. Silver went far more by, how do we put this? By percentage today. It is started. We're seeing a huge wealth transition. And again, this is kind of like the whole culture in America. Things have been pushed in a certain direction, trying to keep them going, trying to keep the fruitcake going, trying to keep the racism going, trying to keep the false stock market going. And now Trump is saying, and this is where I was having a problem with him in his first term, looking at the stock market and saying, that's the economy. Look how good the stock market is. That wasn't the economy. That was Wall Street, not Main Street. So now what we've got Trump saying is he's more concerned about Main Street. Great. That's you and me, us. But to get from where we were to where we need to be, to make America great again, to make America sane again, to make America healthy again, to make America just to fix the fucking problems, right? We've got to go through a lot of gesticulations back and forth until we find a balance. And in the middle of all that, we're going to have objections from the World Economic Forum, from NATO, the European Union, the Chinese. We're going to have objections from social groups, billionaire groups like the World Economic Forum, the Illuminati. They don't like that. The Bilderberg groups, right? All these banker bastards that want to control the money and control you and me, right? They can cause shit to hit the fan big time. Big time. In fact, they wanted World War III. Europe wanted World War III. The World Economic Forum, that's right, a bunch of rich motherfuckers in Davos, Switzerland. That's where their clubhouse is. It's not the Masons selling pancakes controlling the world. It's not Seroptimus controlling the world. It's not the Lions Club controlling the world. It's billionaires. Now, I'm not saying all billionaires are evil or all are good. I'm saying the evil ones are the evil ones. And you can tell. Right? Like Zark Zuckerberg is a lying little sack of shit billionaire. Jeff Bezos, he looks like a keto diet Dr. Evil. Right? And Elon Musk is doing a pretty good job since he's exposing all the waste, fraud, and abuse. Anyways, they wanted to give us World War III. That could have been SHTF, and it still can happen, folks. One rogue missile. How about if Europe, someone there, launches a tactical nuke into Russia? Even a small one hits Moscow. What do you think the response will be? So Putin, president of Russia, and Trump, president of America, are working on a ceasefire program. Zelensky is a moron. He's a moron. We'll talk more about him as well. He wants the war, but Trump is working on Putin, and Putin is working on Trump. Right? We have a ceasefire plan, but there's conditions. There's conditions. These are basically the conditions that have come through a Russian spokesperson. Moscow does not want a temporary truce. It is interested in a long-term settlement. In other words, they don't want this to be just a short-term thing. They want to be done with it. They've won. They're winning. Literally, Ukrainians are running for their lives. They've dropped their weapons, abandoned their tanks, equipment, and munitions, and they're running for their lives out of the Kursk region. So Moscow doesn't want temporary. They want, the reason they're saying is a temporary ceasefire is nothing more than a temporary respite or rest for the Ukrainian military. That also allows NATO and other nations to rearm, resupply the Ukraine military. It allows Ukraine to go capture more of their own people off the street and throw them into the war. So Russia's like, we're not going to play this temporary shit, because all it's going to do is give you a chance to rest, rearm, and get people moved up to the front again, right? So they described it this way: steps that imitate peaceful actions are of no use. So Russia wants a long-term peace settlement that takes into account Moscow's interests and concerns. And I get this totally. Why would Ukraine's desires and wants matter? Why? They've lost the fucking war. The special military operation, the SMO, right? And the Russians also want America, the president, to understand that Ukraine will not become a member of NATO. It's out of the question. It's out of the question. So that's what's being discussed, right? Why should Russia agree to peace if they're going to bring NATO in the country, which is what caused them to invade eastern Ukraine in the first place, because their people, ethnic Russians, were being slaughtered. So Russia is also saying no more Nazis in the military, no more Nazi period, no more Azov battalion. Right there, that's what they're saying. No NATO militaries in the country. No more mercenary groups in the country. I think that's pretty clear. I don't know why that wouldn't make a good relationship happen. In any event, folks, it's not over, but that's what they're discussing. It's really what they're discussing now. On the other hand, Zelensky is pushing for war, while Trump is negotiating peace. So you and I don't have to have lights go out, fuel interrupted, food supply problems, left-wing lunatics in the street setting fire to things. Oh, yeah, that's not protesting, by the way. That's terrorism. Anyways, Zelensky allegedly has given Britain, England, the UK control over the 8 ports in the Ukrainian port city of Odessa. Remember, they've lost Sevastopol, they've lost Crimea, right? Any influence over that, but Ukraine still has Odessa. So apparently, Zelensky, according to reports, wants to establish English naval bases there. Now, if England has naval bases there, that essentially makes them NATO bases. And it's extremely provocative. And it signals to Putin that Zelensky doesn't give a shit and he wants more war. And it's telling me that NATO and the United Kingdom don't want peaceful resolution. They want an expanded war, an SHTF war. Unbelievable in my book. What do you guys want to talk about? Get your questions down below. It is, folks, Thursday. It is Friday Eve. Shit has hit the fan, and here we are in the midst of it. As gold and silver going up, the dollar going down, Bitcoin going back down again, right at the $80,000 number. It hit 76, went back up to 84. Now it's down to 80. It's in turmoil. The crypto world is in turmoil. Tech stocks are in turmoil. There's a lot of question marks out there. Is the Dow Jones sunk again? And I think they closed about 570 points down. Could be 550. Well, shit, I might as well just fucking tell you. 537 down is where it closed. It's been closing down like that for the last week. Not a good scene, folks. Not a good scene. Now, this is a huge deal also for the world of SHTF, for the world of truth, justice, and the American way. A fella named Jess Staley. He is a Barclays banker and a JP Morgan banking big shot. Jess Staley. He is now admitted, folks, to having sex Most of us can make that claim, but not like Jess Staley. No, he had sex with an assistant. He's admitted it, of Jeffrey Epstein. What kind of assistants did Jeffrey Epstein have? Well, I'm sure all sorts of assistants. I mean, Jizzy Maxwell was an assistant and partner of his that procured underage women and sent them to Little St. James. There were other young women in their teens who were massage experts and assistants. We don't know. We don't know more details, but this is fascinating, folks. And Jess Staley also had Epstein's clients sharing information with him and then lobbying Jess Staley to keep him as a client. This is very nasty. It's just a little piece of the dirtiness of these bankers, financiers, and pedophiles. What I'm wondering is this guy, Jess Staley, did he crack from pressure being put on the government by you and I, we the people, demanding daily and not giving up daily? I don't care what they're doing for investigations. I don't care how many fucking piles of paperwork. I don't care how many boxes of manila folders they have. We want arrests. And as long as we keep demanding it, it's going to push them. Remember, they arrested January 6th protesters on January 6th and for months after that and held them for years until Trump took office without many of them having charges brought against them. They just held them in jail. Completely against the Constitution. Completely. Torture, violation of the 7th Amendment to the Constitution. 4th and 5th Amendment violations, searches and seizures illegal, no due process, period. These fucking people are crooks. But you put in the Republicans and they don't even know how to arrest somebody, right? So, some reason though, Mr. Stay Free is cracked and come out and admit it. Is it the pressure? Will more of these pedophiles and idiots start revealing themselves? Well, now that Stay Free, that's just a nickname. We had a guy named Staley when I was in school. Will Jess Staley try cutting a deal? He's already told us he slept with an assistant of Jeffrey Epstein's. Yeah, but where? Epstein's house, Epstein's Island, one of the numerous other pedophile sites around the nation. There's ranches in New Mexico and Texas. There's estates in New England. Oh, they're out there, folks. This shit is going to get nasty. So I say this. These people are starting to crack. The pressure's getting to them. Pressure Pam Bondi, pressure Kash Patel, pressure President Trump, and keep demanding text, email, voicemail, carrier pigeon, fucking FedEx delivery. It doesn't matter. Tell them to prosecute, make public arrests, right? And just fucking go after them. Anyways, it's working, folks, right? Pressure them. No excuses are allowed. And it's you guys who get the credit, not me. I'm not giving any fucking credit to Pam Bondi because any one of you could sit there and go, someone put a pen in my hand. Thank you. Here's a piece of paper. It says arrest, and here's a bunch of names that I took right off the Jeffrey Epstein list. Arrest the motherfuckers and sign it. Hand them the paper. Execute this now. Done. Done. Now, we do know there are an awful lot of Democrat judges out there. A lot of them, folks. A lot of them. And they're becoming very problematic. There are twice as many lawsuits against the Trump administration right now than there has ever been to any president at any time over anything ever. So Trump has now signed an executive order. And he is refusing to accept or obey any judicial order or review or encroachment of his Article 2 powers. This is what I alleged he assigned today. Sorry, judges, until the Supreme Court addresses the issue of Article 2 authority and the president, and they fully resolve it and answer it, you guys, you little pissant judges, don't matter. And I think that is incredibly brilliant on his part. Make it an issue so big that either the left wing loses their shit and starts rioting. Do it. Just fucking do it, you bunch of losers. No, the Supreme Court needs to address it in full, the full court, and proper. And proper. Now, Trump further used an executive order that is cracking down on these radicalized leftist communist judges who are abusing courts. And what he's demanding is that the leftists pay the court costs because of their frivolous bullshit court filings, right? They're costing millions. They are risking lives. They are impeding official Article 2 presidential authority and administrative work. It's impeding. Now, is Trump trying to get the Supreme Court to address this and then say, look at what these people have done? They violated their standing, and that's not good enough. They need to be fucking impeached. They do. They need to be impeached and removed from the bench. It's right here. Right here. I mean, I guess I could find it, huh? I guess I could just find it. Comes at the end of Article 3. Shall I find it? Let's have a little bit of fun. Folks, bear with me. An unplanned setup here. That was Article 4. And that's some stuff on treason. Fuck, I can't find it. Here it is. It says, when the president's pissed off enough and the people are screaming, impeach judges. There it is. I should have looked that up before the show. I apologize. Had a little fun with it, though. Yeah, but the term is, right, they can sit in times of good behavior. Well, what happens when there's bad behavior? Anyways, these judges are a problem. In fact, so is the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is a big problem. Because right now, Palestinian extremists, these radical, out of the country, and even domestic pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist people have now made a bomb threat to the sister of Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Well, so is Amy Coney Barrett going to impeach Trump in order to try and get them from threatening her family, to protect herself and her sister? Is she going to fuck over America some more? You know what should happen? Justice Amy Coney Barrett showed us during the president's address the other day that she has contempt for him and for America and for the Constitution. She has nothing but contempt. And she is fearful. The look on her face is not of confidence and surety and bravery. It's the look of someone who is fearful. I'll tell you what, the other judges, they don't look fearful. I'm talking about the Democrats too. The clearly Democrat-leaning, left-wing, fucked up Supreme Court judges. But Amy Coney Barrett looked like she's about to cry. And then she shit all over all of us and agreed with the Democrat justices. Sounds like she's compromised. Sounds like she's being either blackmailed or extorted or both or all those things. And now her sister is being threatened. She should resign. Amy Coney Barrett needs to resign. As far as I'm concerned, she is a very poor choice. She doesn't have the spine. She doesn't have the brains. Because you need both. You need both. I mean, they got Ketanji Brown Jackson in there, or whatever the fuck her name is, who doesn't know and can't define what a woman is. Oh, she's brave, but she doesn't have the brains. We got problems, folks. Big problems. Now, again, the president of El Salvador, who now has the safest nation per capita in the world because of crime reduced. How did he do it? They impeached their socialist judges, literally impeached them and got rid of them. So there's no more light on crime, let them go, parole criminals. No, they empowered the police, arrested MS-13, all the drug dealers, everyone. Got them off the streets, threw them in jail. And the jails, they're not like our jails with nice little cells and beds. They're big fenced-in areas of total disgusting discomfort. No air conditioning. No soft, cushy little rooms. No kraut, no schnitzel, no brats. They got nothing. And nobody wants to be a criminal there because it's your ass. Right? We need to get rid of our bad judges. We need to lock up traitors. We need to arrest pedophiles. We need to get rid of cheaters, liars, thieves. I know you guys are brave. Be brave and keep talking. Keep demanding of Congress. Keep demanding of the president. Do not let up. It is this pressure, right? That's what's winning this war for us. The pressure. Help Trump see the light. Remember, way before the election, he started during the campaign. Early on in the campaign, started talking about Operation Warp Speed, and we got the Jim Jones juice out there, and guess what happened? Everyone booed his ass. They love Trump, but you don't have to agree with everything he says. So when he says something we don't agree with, we tell him no on the Jim Jones juice. That was all wrong, wrong. Pam Bondi should be making arrests. Wrong, and wrong. Get rid of her. Since she won't. We got a long way to go, folks. We're not going to fix the problems on day one, but I tell you what, as long as you stay in the fight with me, we stay prepared, and we stay engaged with what's going on, we can win back our republic. We've stopped Democrats, communists, these filthy globalists. The world is now being pushed in a nationalist protective direction. So every country needs to self-examine, not compare itself to other countries, examine what it is, who their allies are, their trading partners, who's ruining their country, who's trying to save their country and fix them. It's one hell of a process, and we live in interesting times, my friends. So let's do this. Let's have some fun. Let's listen to what you want to talk about. And we're back. Mr. Uman is in the hot seat as moderator, and he says, U.S. Viking Warrior checks in from X. And I'm following this guy back. In fact, everyone who follows on X, I follow back. Period. Well, unless you're one of these OnlyFans trying to get me to give them, I don't fucking know. Anyways, Viking Warrior says, hard to imagine Trump will put up with Bondi much longer after Sessions and then Barr. I hear you, man. It's hard to imagine it. Why would he tolerate that? Now, I imagine this, Mr. Warrior, that Pam Bondi is reporting to Trump and saying, oh, there's a lot of paperwork. You know, oh, it's national security. Well, explain the paperwork. Explain the national security. I don't know what Trump's patience is, how long he's willing to wait. But he cannot not know and understand and believe. He can't not understand that in 18 months we start campaigning for the midterm elections. And we need a lot of shit done. Not talked about and then forgotten. Not brought up and then shelved. Shit needs to get done. Paper ballots, ID required, American citizenship required, in-person voting on day of voting only, and hell, make it a national holiday. Fixed. Oh, yeah. And if you commit election fraud egregiously and knowingly, lifetime in jail, if not death sentence. Now, yeah, Sessions was a pile of shit. And did we all, or did we not, learn a valuable lesson about the standard Republican? When they brought Jeff Sessions out of the Senate, the U.S. Senate, and said, there's our Attorney General. This guy's been around. He knows the business. He was a sellout and a coward. Bill Barr was an incredible fat-ass sellout who screwed us all over. We are looking at Pam Bondi right now and going, all you got to do is arrest, Adam Schiff, Hillary Clinton. We all got the goods on him. Arrest a big-name person, drag him in front of the cameras. No little fish. Big one. And that will placate us for about a day. All right, yes. But here's this. Kash Patel went around Pam Bondi and gave Trump a request. He said, give me your direct number. If I, Kash Patel, head of the FBI, need to get a hold of you, Mr. President, I don't want to have anyone in the fucking way. That was a good thing. He's like, I'm not going to put stuff on Pam's desk just to have her ignore it. That was a vote of no confidence in Pam, by the way, in my opinion. I want some fucking arrests. I think you do too, or fire him. Get him the fuck out of there. There's this guy named Matt Gaetz that I think would be a perfect fit. In fact, that was the first nominee for the AG job. I think that really, really was too much for the liberals to handle. Now, let me put this to you, Mr. Viking Warrior, because I'm a Viking myself, in case you didn't notice. If I was to think about strategy, I might wait until the Senate goes to recess. Ask for Miss Bondi's resignation. She can do it for health reasons. Whatever. I don't give a fuck what her reason is. Ask her to step down. And while Senate's in recess, do a recess appointment of Matt Gaetz and start the fucking fireworks. That's my thoughts on that, Mr. Viking Warrior. And you also, it looks like, enjoy a good cigar, and that is awesome, Neil. Awesome deal. Mr. Uman, where do we want to roll next here on this Friday Eve? Uh-oh. Amy Comey Barrett, a.k.a. Church Lady, was always a fucking weakling, and this comes from Name Redacted. Yeah. Amy Comey Barrett looked and sounded weak. What I was hoping, and I guess maybe we're all hoping, because we see these people, we hear names, we see faces, we see problems, we see solutions, and we hope because we've got no authority, no direct authority, but we have influence. Not me. I don't have 80,000 YouTube followers anymore because YouTube killed that channel, fuckers. Anyways, we're building it back up. Here's the deal. We have power, not direct, but indirect. I was thinking and hoping that Amy Comey Barrett, who is now recognized as a piece of shit, she would have become stronger, right? Take her out of the court and you transplant them into a bigger pot, right? More room for the roots to grow, get big and strong. Instead, she became weaker. Very weak. No good. I think that she should go. She has too much family. And her sister is being threatened now, and she is weak. She looks weak. I mean, Sotomayor, the large Latina who's going to resign here in the next couple of years. I don't think she's going to make it 3 3/4 years before she has to leave. She is strong. I don't agree with the damn thing she says, but she's strong. There's no reason Amy Comey Barrett can't. Instead, she looks like a weak coward, and she is now ruling that way. Not ruling us, but making judicial rules or, shall we say, decisions. Thank you. And Mr. Uman, where do we want to step in next? What's the topic? And I'm willing to talk about anything. Well, almost anything. We got Deplorable Yankee Redneck. There's a title. He says, I saw reports that silver should be half the price of gold. The U.S. debt clock shows over $1,000 silver. Okay, here we go. All right, what I need you to do, Mr. Deplorable Yankee Redneck, is pull back on the emotions, because I get there as well. Silver was an investment I made back in 2016 and 2017. One of the things that encouraged me to go into, at that time, putting my meager resources after my divorce into silver was to take it out of the bank. So my ex couldn't get it through the bank. The bank couldn't confiscate it. And I looked at what you're looking at, right? The silver to gold ratio right now is about 90-1. It's probably a little lower today because silver did very well today as well as gold, but silver did better than gold. It may be 88-1. Now, here's the deal. Silver comes out of the ground 7-1 or 8-1, depending on who you talk to. In other words, it's not coming out of the ground 1 ounce of gold and 88 ounces of silver. It's being mined at a much slower rate. Additionally, that rate that is coming out of the ground is going down. In fact, when I first started investing in silver, it was 11-1, then 10-1, and 9-1. It's been slowly dropping, becoming more rare. Essentially, except for gold that is sunk in shipwrecks, all gold is kept and held. It's stored. Let me explain it to you this way. For every person on the planet, there is 1 ounce of gold. For every person on the planet, there are only 2.5 ounces of silver. Well, if silver is mined so much more prodigiously, why isn't there enough? Because it gets consumed and used in weapons. Like 500 ounces goes into every Tomahawk weapon, right? The space technology, satellite technology, military technology, solar panels, electric motors, computer chips, cell phones. Silver is used and consumed. Quite often is blown up. And the only way to make it affordable to remove in these small amounts that are used all over the place, the only way to improve that is to have silver be $200 an ounce, $300 an ounce, $400 an ounce. So back then, when I first started, I was looking at the silver to the United States debt, right? It needs to be a lot higher. That may be right here, $1,000 silver. If they revalued silver to that, every ounce of silver would be equal to the debt. Except the government doesn't hold silver. All the silver here is being held in COMEX reserves or bank vaults. It's being held there for industrial purposes and for investment purposes, right? And stackers, people like me and you who would have a little bit of silver, right? That's an example of some of my early silver there. Gotta love that. Anyways, let's go back to Deplorable Yankee Redneck's first comment if we can. Nope. Okay, it got erased off the board. So what do we do with this information, right? Silver is going up much slower. The traditional ratio was 16-1, 15-1. Then it went up to 20-1, and it stayed there for a long time, right? 20 ounces of silver to 1 ounce gold. And it hasn't been below 30 ounces to 1 since, I think, 2011. So if it reverts to mean where it should be, silver should be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It should be $100 an ounce silver. That makes sense. That makes mining and exploring sense. There's so many factors in this, though. In silver, there are only a small percentage of primary silver mines. That is to say, a mine that goes in and they're going after silver. About 75% of all silver that is mined, refined, and goes to market is mined by zinc mines, copper mines, and other base metal mines like lead, for example. They get some silver in there, very small amounts, but it's in there nonetheless. And they screen it, they take it out, and that's where 75% of all the silver comes from. So you ask yourself the question, the question's begged here, What happens in an economic downturn? When they mine less copper, less zinc, and zinc is used to galvanize steel. As they mine less of that, you get also less silver going with it. So they follow each other up and down, the volumes. So the expense of getting just silver or recycling silver is huge. And so silver mines have struggled for years. As a consequence, they're not out there discovering new silver mines. It's becoming rarer and harder to get. And a lot of people believe, and we're going to see it again, that silver is going to show itself to be an incredible store of value. If not considered at the very least, you're storing your wealth there safely. Market can crash, and that's still 1 ounce of silver. And when markets go down, as we're seeing right now, and uncertainty and doubt is out there, the value of silver and gold goes up, and it can go up tremendously. Late 70s, early 80s, silver went from $1 to $50. Gold went from $35 to $850. Right, in 2011, at the end of that bull run, silver went from, I think, $5 to $50. That was a 10 times move. And then it got stabbed and broken, just like it did in the 80s. And gold went from just under $300 to just under $2,000. So we've got some crazy stuff coming, and it's all a sign of the times. So I say food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Have those items in your plan as your primary prepper precautionary effort. If you've got additional wealth after that, a lot of people say put your wealth in silver and gold. People are like, you can't eat gold and silver. Yeah, well, how much food can you store? Right? How much gold and silver is good? It's all good because, well, if we go into an economic crash, serious Mad Max, eventually we're going to have a country again, and gold and silver will have value. If we go back to caveman times, beyond Thunderdome, no society, well, there's still going to be a need to trade. Anyways, that's off in the future. Can you plan for it? Yes. It's all the same plan. Just like preparing for martial law is the same prep plan as preparing for an asteroid impact or an EMP weapon or a nuclear bomb or an incredible terror attack, a mass casualty event. All of those things, folks, you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. Yeah, and that. So go to the preparedmind.club and check out what we say are some items that could help you get prepared. And I'll tell you what, I've been under the weather this week. Weak, tired, sick, not feeling good. And I've made very careful notes. How do I feel when I'm not good? No energy, not very alert, mentally a little slower than normal, decision-making questionable, things like that, right? You're not 100%. In a dangerous and or serious SHTA environment, if you are under the weather, weak, uninformed, confused, over-emotional, you will be in a worse position than if you're mentally prepared. And if you've got those items, okay, we got food and water. The house is good. I've got a plan to deal with violence if it comes to our neighborhood. Right? We've got a little community set up. You got all that handled. You don't have to worry about it. Right? People that don't have food, water, don't have a plan, don't have medicines, they're weak, they're tired, they're hungry, they're dizzy. They're not making good decisions. They run out of energy, right? They're a less formidable opponent if they want to get stupid and violent. So understand that. Being a prepper gives you not only healthy body and safe family, but it gives you peace of mind. Okay, enough of that. Mr. Uman, let us move on. Great topics today, by the way. We got Mr. Diving Frog. And he says, John, how do these people cry about getting a fair trial because of public opinion when they are guilty of treason? Shouldn't they stand before a military tribunal? It sounds fair to me. Indeed. Now, I don't know who is crying about getting a fair trial because no one's been arrested for treason yet. But I think I know what you're talking about. How was Trump supposed to get a fair trial when he is being attacked and a jury pool of New York City people were put on the panel? Or Fulton County, Georgia, where fat-ass Fannie Willis cherry-picked her jurists. How the hell was Trump going to get a fair a fair trial there? I'll tell you what. We are a completely divided and partisan country now. Treason is treason. I would think that a military tribunal will give you an actual trial because you are ordered to consider the facts. Not the conjecture, the facts. A military tribunal is necessary for treason because that is a crime against the state. Right? It's not a crime against another person or against property. It's a crime against the state, and therefore it moves to a different, shall we say, venue. It is very fair. Like, I don't know how you accidentally commit treason. You can accidentally run over someone's property and not know it. And it's like, I didn't know. Right? Public opinion. The public is full of idiots, are they not? We have half the country nearly voting for Democrats. Tell me there's not a problem. So how do you get a good jury pool to deal with crimes that are bad? How do you get a jury pool for treason? Well, military tribunal for treason, definitely. And they should be scared. They should be scared to death. They will whine and cry because they're scared and they know they're guilty. They know they're guilty, folks. They know what they've done, and they're hoping and praying that these little pissant judges that Trump has now said, you know what? Bitch slapped them out of the way. Good. They need to be impeached. There is so much work to do. Yes, I'm in a big hurry. Yes, I want arrests. The big names are easy. They've done the investigations. They've admitted Hillary Clinton is guilty of massive felonies having to do with national security and state secrets. You know, whether it's treason or not, I don't know. But they can lock her up for the rest of her freaking life. And I would be damn happy to do that. In fact, I think the government could pay off half the national debt by making her arrest and trial pay-per-view. But I want an ironclad, bona fide guarantee from Trump that it will not be a sham trial against her, that a real prosecutor with real evidence will get her. I don't want one of these. I don't want a bullshit trial, folks. And maybe that's part of the problem that they're trying to resolve is how do we get a fair and real trial and not have a bunch of Democrats sitting on there going, oh, no, you're not going to put our favorite scumbags up on trial. You're not going to send our favorite traitors like Hillary, Adam Schiff. Right? There's a lot of these people. Oh, Skippy, Obama, Eric Holder, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Eric Swallowswell. Oh, there's a lot of them. Let us continue if we shall. Mr. Uman, I know we got a lot on the table, and it's Redneck Roughneck in the house. He says, used to be guys in white vans would come by and pick up these guys, giving them a nice jacket with a belt that makes them hug themselves. Now the Democrats elect them to lead the Democrat Party. What he's talking about is these crazy lunatics. These crazy, crazy left-wing lunatics that are LGBTQ retarded, or that are racist retarded, or pro-national another country. They care more about Europe, or they care more about China. Right? How many people say Joe Biden was owned by China? How many people say that the Senate and Congress are owned by Europe? Because they fly over there every chance they get and suck up to those people, including Zelensky. How many people in Congress are unduly and improperly financed and influenced by lobbying companies from other countries, like Israel, for example? I do not like seeing Israeli flags or Ukraine flags or EU flags or any other fucking flags in the Senate, in Congress, in the House of Republicans or House of Representatives. No one should have another flag. I can understand who our allies are. And some people think some countries are better or worse allies, or better or worse enemies. Fine, but take their fucking flags off your walls. That should be a crime. And I think all foreign nations should have to register as foreign agents and their people over here so that they, right, it's known who they are and what they're doing. We got a lot of things to fix, folks. It goes all the way into the White House. White House, Congress, you bet. Supreme Court, they need to dig in and find out who's getting the money. I am all for arresting every single one of those motherfuckers. I saw a picture of Congress the other day, all assembled. And then I saw someone said, here's all the Epstein list, and it's the same picture. Wouldn't surprise me a bit if 75 or 80 or even 90% of everyone in there is compromised in some form or fashion through drugs, prostitution, pedophilia, or just outright blackmail and bribery. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. We got lots of Americans. We've only got, 435 congressmen and 100 senators? Hell, you got more people than that living on your block. We can replace them, no problem. I don't want to live in fantasy land, though, folks. I want to try and be realistic. We got problems. It's going to take time. We can have arrests made and prosecution started. It needs to happen. Treason, that's going to be tried in a military tribunal. You bet, especially if the crime is committed on federal property. Federal property. U.S. government property that is now a crime in their jurisdiction and can be tried in a military tribunal if it is treasonous. And those, my friends, those trials will go the way they need to go. All right, man, we got time for probably one, maybe two more. And it's Heidi. She says, has anyone else noticed the increase in commercials for Muslim charity? I've been getting buried in them. The answer is yes, I have noticed. You want to know why they're happening now? Because you said U.S. aid, that money is not flowing to those organizations. And those organizations, my friends, guess what? They aren't giving money to little hungry children. They're not giving medical attention to little hungry Muslim children. They're not taking care of little Muslim meek wives. Every Muslim wife I see on TV, on their channels, on their videos, in their social media, spew hatred for Christians, white people, Americans, and Europeans. They spew hatred. But now they're asking for money, and it's, oh, we're poor. Listen and go find what Winston Churchill said about Muslims. He said when they're a minority, they ask for, right, charity and kindness and acceptance. And when they increase, they become argumentative. And when they're a majority, they'll murder everybody. And I'm paraphrasing Churchill. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Barack Hussein, Barry Soetoro Obama, former two-time president who was not born in Hawaii and who doesn't and still has not produced a birth certificate. Guess who she worked for? Anyone? Uman? Anyone? She worked for USAID. That came out today. She worked for USAID. Isn't that fucking interesting? That slush fund has been around a long time. A way to finance political operations under the guise of charity. Kind of like, was that Air America? The CIA supposedly flying into Peace Corps. Peace Corps. Once again, Peace Corps. Yeah, they're charitable. They're doing charitable things. Peace Corps, Peace Corps. It's all about the peace, man. Fucking CIA flying in food and flying out drugs. Flying in advisors, flying out drugs, flying in radio equipment to spread their propaganda in Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, right? Government is not into peace. Not organizations like you said, or the CIA. That's not what they do, folks. It's about power control. In any event, we're at the 1 hour mark. I'm going to let you guys go tomorrow. We're going to do Zero Dark 30. And then tomorrow night, we're going to do the Friday Free for All. And Sunday Night Live, I hope to see you all there. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same bat time. Same bat channel, Sunday night. This weekend, folks, tomorrow is going to be an exciting day. But this weekend, shit is going to hit the fan again and again and again. The violence is ratcheting up. The rhetoric is ratcheting up. The left are losing their power. So they're going to every card they have. They're going to exhaust every round of political ammunition they've got until it gets to the point where all they have left is violence. And when that happens, you can expect violence to hit our streets. False flags, black swans, if you will. Whatever pretty name you want to attach to this nation's enemies attacking us directly. Thank you, Mr. Uman, and thank you, Cafefe.com, for making sure every morning I have a hot, delicious cup of patriotic brewed coffee. www.cafefe.com. Good stuff. I'll see you guys tomorrow.